Ring, ring. Yo, new owner, who this? Who this? We are in day one of a new era. It's nothing. I think it's time to celebrate just a little bit and celebrate more when these W's come. But we're going to talk about that and a little light retrospective on the previous era. Next. Drop that beat.
Unleash the Kraken.
The Kraken.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Thursday, July the 20th. July. It's almost like saying McDonald's instead of McDonald's.
Which one is it, by the way?
It depends what part of the country you're in.
Which one is it, though? Which one's the proper way to say it?
It's McDonald's.
I think maybe it's McDonald's.
Like it's mucky outside.
McDonald's.
No,
but it's McDonald's. I keep telling everybody this.
Depending what part of the country you live in, some people say McDonald's. Usually, I guess it's a southern twang.
Nah, man, I don't want to hear that. I'm in Kentucky. You say McDonald's.
Yeah, I agree with you. I say McDonald's too, but
I got a couple friends that say McDonald's.
Look. As someone who's a quarter Irish,
is it
McDonald's?
Is it Ed McCaffrey?
No,
it's McCaffrey.
I say the same thing.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But how does the song go?
At McDonald's.
Old McDonald's. Old McDonald had a farm.
It's old McDonald. I say old McDonald. I say old McDonald. I don't know.
Do you call it? You don't call it a Big Mick. You call it a Big Mac.
Let's share McDowell's.
McDowell's. We don't have the golden arches.
She calls it a Big Mick.
We have the golden. What does he call it? We have the golden
arches.
Yeah, they have.
No, they got an arch.
Golden arch. Yeah,
they had a Big Mac.
We got the Big Mick.
And by the way, it was spelled MC, by the way, on the menu. You go back and look at it.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Well, fellas, the team is sold. This has been a long time coming.
We ain't got no celebration music. I should have made a song.
I was gonna download something. All the celebration sounds I was trying to get had a song in them, and I was like talking to Phil. I'm like, man, we're gonna get copyright busted. So the only thing I have is
we need to get all the podcasters together. Rio, Rep the Pot. We need to get all of them. Deuce, all the podcasters, right, that we're cool with, and do a "We Are the World" type song about Snyder.
Yeah,
we need to do it. We are the world. We are the
commanders.
Yeah, commanders.
Yeah.
We are the
We are the ones who put up with Dan shit for 24 years.
I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, actually. We're gonna do this shit.
Yeah, we got to do it. We'll do that. A couple people in the chat. Rockman 1033 said, "Bye, Dan. It's a new day with a new owner. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, Rockman. We appreciate you." Marcus, our boy Marcus Edelin down in from YouTube says, "What's up, family? Like what Ice Cube once said, today is a good day." That is correct, sir. Chet Scotland, what up, Chet? From Facebook saying, "Hola, mi familia de Redskins. We are free to the future and success and bling." Cheers, my friend. Cheers to you. $6.05 billion later. We're cheersing. So that being said, how's everyone's vibe right now? Phil, we'll start with you, man. How you living?
Look, obviously, all I can say is the only, like real feeling I have is bye Dan. Like, and I actually have a really good vibe as far as what Harris had to say for his day one. And how he had very little to say in terms of words. I mean, he was only up there for 5 minutes total talking. But it's what he did afterwards that was kind of telling of the kind of guy he is. He's much more of an action guy than a words guy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there were 2 different events being held. There was the Burgundy and Sold one down in the bullpen. And then there was, of course, 1067 sent Grant and Danny out to do one because, hey, anytime we get rid of something here, they got to, 1067's got to throw a party about it. We burned RG3's jerseys, and then now we celebrate Dan selling the team. At both events.
Do you want to listen to it? Would you like to see it?
Oh, you got video?
I got video of it.
Give me some video. Show the people.
Let's give the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? Just confirm that you can hear.
Right?
Confirm you can hear the sound once it starts.
Come on, give it up for him.
Good.
Give it up. Let's go.
You hear the sound?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. That's Junks on stage.
Thanks to the Junkies. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. Again, like I said earlier, you guys and ladies have all suffered over 24 years of Dan Schneider being the owner of your Washington football team. No longer. Josh Harris is the new man in charge in DC. And I was told by a very good source, bartenders, get fucking ready. Josh Harris is buying everybody here in the bullpen a fucking beer. So go on up to the bar and get yourselves a beer of the brand new owner. Your guy, your new savior, your new messiah, Josh Harris.
Like that's
now
cool,
we're going
man.
over the top already.
No,
don't put those expectations on him.
It's like what people are doing with Sam Howell, right?
Here's the thing. We did the same thing to Dan Schneider after 99. The very next year, we were Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
So let's not call the owner a messiah.
Just listen to the end though. The end
Snyder's gone.
The end's really funny though.
So the Commanders.
Josh Harris, fill your glass. Thank you guys for coming out to the bullpen. Thank you guys for listening to the Junks, to WPGC 94.7 The Drive. Fill up your glass, everybody. Have a great time here at the bullpen. And thanks again for coming out and supporting everything that's going on down here at the bullpen today. Thank you again to listen to 980 as well. That's our sister station here in DC. Thank you guys. Come to support. Love you guys. Thanks for coming out. Have a great night tonight here at the bullpen. Fuck Dan Schneider. That guy's a fucking asshole.
And then you get the rest. You get the rest. You get the rest of what happened. So I did not expect that from Cakes to spit off a little bit of F-bomb. But he was day drinking. He's like, I'm gonna be day drinking today. It's gonna be nice.
I like Cakes.
A few more people popping into the chat. Ryan Elias, our boy, said, "Yo, boys, enjoying life in Myrtle Beach and celebrating departure, Dan." Yes, sir. Thank you much, Ryan. And Tony Shivers from Facebook. Man, it feels so good. It does feel good to be done with Dan, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? And he also bought beers for people at the Ox Brewery, which is where Grant and Danny were doing their show today, which I believe is down in Ashburn. Chet Scotland said, "Meanwhile, some jerk in California won my Powerball jackpot last night. Bro, I did not buy a ticket. I meant to. I did not get a chance. Someone hit today?
Yep, 1.08 billion.
No.
They could have been a 1/6 owner of this team.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, man. Hey, well, congratulations to them. Stay anonymous if you know if it's good for you.
You have
Kevin
no family
Flynn
now.
on YouTube says, "Congrats on the sale, guys. Good luck to you going forward." Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you, man. What is your team? Please let us know. Curious to know.
I want y'all to know something. I forgot to tell y'all. I met with Rod, actually. We went out to eat at Novo, my favorite place to eat. If you're ever in Corvette City, drive to Pub by Novo. It's awesome. I met Rod for the first time. We had a blast. Met him and his lovely wife and his kids, man. And I asked him, "Hey, man, when a team is sold, are you coming back?"
He said no.
He said, "Fuck, no, he ain't coming back. Never coming back, man." So I just want everybody to know he said that. He said he's never coming back, man. He told me this story about why, and it's sad.
I mean, I don't think Dan was the reason he left.
That is
Not to
part
go
of it.
down not to go down that rabbit hole, but Dan's not the reason. I mean,
Gotta be part of it.
Reason for many people. I don't think that was his reason. Dan.
Dan was
just-
never
he
my
was just
reason for
down.
reconsidering my fandom. It was all the stuff surrounding the name change and everything.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin said he's a diehard Jets fan. He pops in here from time to time to support Dev. You guys do a good job. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. You should have said something, Dev. I didn't know who Kevin was.
Yeah, I'm hot, man. So I didn't. I forgot who Kevin was too, bro. Sorry, bro.
We eat every day.
All good. All day, every day. So in honor of Dan selling the team, we're going to do a couple things today. Talk about a couple things, and I think it'll generate a lot of good discussion amongst the group. You know, Dan's gone. Josh Harris is here. And let's just take a quick recap of some of the moments in Dan Schneider history, you know, kind of jog your memory, make you think about some of the good times and the bad times. And, you know, just put your stuff down in the comments and be curious to see what you guys think. But let's just start off, you know, Dan Schneider has owned this team for 24 years. 24 years he's on this team. 1999. Lots happened. Good stuff, bad stuff.
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad. But, you know.
Mostly mediocre.
Mediocre. Mediocre is a good way to put it. Like extremely average. Like hard average. Consistently average. But just out the gate, what is the worst quarterback bungle of all time under Dan that you think he had an influence on? And this is going to be duplicative of some other questions, but he had a lot of influence of the quarterback position on the Redskins football team and the Commanders. So
I got my vote.
Starting with you, Phil, what is the worst quarterback bungle?
I know a lot of people are
going to got to be quarterback related.
Well,
this one's quarterback.
Just quarterback screw ups that Dan had influence on. It's Jeff George.
Yes.
I know. I know a lot of people want to go and they want to think of more recent history, but that should have been indicative. And that was the first time I ever had a problem with Dan. He went with Jeff George over Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson led us to one of the best offenses in the league at 99, but he wanted the big, sexy arm. And we already had a fine enough arm in Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson went off to throw bombs to Keyshawn Johnson and win a Super Bowl. But I would say that was the biggest botch because it set the tone for future quarterback botches. But that was really the case where we took a team and we had a guy who was successful and blew it for somebody who really – what had Jeff George done before then?
He was drafted by the Colts. And
he bounced around the league because he was a pain in the ass.
He had a hell of a cannon for an arm, and he had some promise.
But he would have one good year and flame out. He didn't even have one good year with us.
Yeah, true story.
So I would say Jeff George because that one, first of all, set a lot of bad things in motion until Gibbs 2.0. And it just kind of just set the tone for what Dan was going to be.
Okay. I was going to say that one, and I that's my number one, but just for the purpose of conversation, you took that one. The next one is almost too easy because I'm going to say that for another category. It's probably a pretty simple one. So, man, I
know what I got. I know one.
Go ahead, Dev.
Donovan McNabb.
Oh man!
You know, and this makes me mad because I actually was a big Donovan McNabb fan. Before. I don't know if I would want to really count it because I think before he got here, we were like, "That's a good move." You know, I wonder if at the time we weren't all excited to have Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, I was excited.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to count it, but I'm going to go. I'm gonna go results. Donovan McNabb. We gave up 2 draft picks for him. We paid him a buttload of money.
That was Andy Reid fleecing 1.0.
We didn't have to give him that second pick, by the way, because he
can I
didn't meet the statistical threshold to make us give the other pick, by the way. So technically, we only gave 1 pick.
Now let me back up just a second here on McNabb. It wasn't like McNabb was replacing Jason Campbell, who I like.
Right. That's what made it worse.
But McNabb at the time, you looked at it and said that's probably an upgrade from Jason Campbell. It didn't work out. But if you look at McNabb was coming off his best statistical year in terms of pure passing.
But he can't throw anything that's not a deep bomb.
Well, he didn't have D-Jax to throw the ball to. I mean, he had Anthony Armstrong, but he wasn't throwing the ball.
He had Lloyd. He had Brendan Lloyd. He was killing it with that motherfucker one year.
Lloyd was not on the team by the time that happened. Lloyd was on the team.
You sure? I think that
yes.
was on the
Lloyd was on the team when Mark Brunell was quarterback.
The problem is Jason Campbell, I think he had 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, or 4 and 5, something along those lines. But I feel like Shanny didn't want him. They discarded him before he even got a chance to be anything under Shanahan. And I'm with you, Dev. I was psyched when McNabb came, because think about how many times McNabb freaking burned us.
People questioned Jeff George from the start. That's why I don't see McNabb as bad a blunder, because it wasn't a blunder when it happened. It was a blunder when we realized, Donovan ain't the same.
Right.
But Jeff George, from the minute that we got him, we're like, why?
Yeah.
And why is Dan talking about he wants this to be a competition?
No,
and all
that's
this other
fair.
stuff. That's why, and I mean, McNabb, I was a blunder, but I think McNabb was a bigger blunder with Shanahan. Shanahan didn't know how to handle him really well and kind of threw him under the bus because Shanahan really didn't want him.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you one we didn't bring up.
What's that?
The fact that Dan went behind Gruden down back and got Alex Smith without Gruden even knowing it was going to go down.
Dev, that's what I was going to say. You took Jeff George, you took McNabb. I was going to say Alex Smith. Yeah. Andy Reid fleecing 2.0. Gruden didn't know that was happening. I think he found out on social media that was happening. So that's my number one quarterback blunder.
Would picking Chase Young over Herbert be one of them? Would he be responsible for that?
If it
doesn't work out,
no, we were.
You could even argue Dwayne Haskins. According to Jay Gruden, he came running in off his yacht. He made that pick from his yacht. Mm-hmm. Jay Gruden doubled down on that today. He said Dan Schneider had no business selecting draft picks for this team, especially the quarterback. He goes, I have nothing wrong with the owner making picks for his team, but he should have been informed. He didn't go to scout meetings. He didn't go to the team meetings. He didn't watch film. And Jay was like, the owner for the Bengals would sit in all those meetings when we talked about it. So he had made informed decisions when it came to draft pick. But either way, some of these comments, Chet Scotland said, Danny Werfel.
Danny Werfel?
Danny Werfel.
Well, we give a Trent Green for Gus Frerotte be one of them?
That was pre-Dan Schneider, wasn't it?
Nah.
Yeah, that was pre-Dan Schneider.
Right.
Yeah, that was pre-Dan Schneider. Marcus says same thing. Rid of Brad Johnson for Jeff George. Ryan's with you with McNabb. Patrick Ramsey. Wasn't Ramsey pre-Dan Schneider?
That's close.
No, that was during Dan Schneider. But we needed a quarterback. we were going into that season. It was going to be Patrick Ramsey being developed and a bunch of Florida guys who knew how to run Steve Spurrier's system. Yeah. That's why I don't say Werfel, because Werfel was actually brought in to be a backup. The starter that first season,
Tony Banks,
we had Florida. We were running the fun and gun. Was Shane Matthews?
Shane Matthews, Spurrier Florida connection.
And when did Tony Banks come?
Oh no, Patrick Ramsey was 2002, 2005.
Where's Tony Banks at?
2001. He was the backup to Jeff George. We cut Jeff George after 2 games because he was that awful. And Marty did. And then Marty put Tony Banks in to really just be a guy who can manage the game, but he had a big arm, but he wasn't really accurate. So he's more of a game manager, but he could stretch the field occasionally. And then you had Kent Graham as the backup.
Kent Graham.
There's a little history lesson for you.
Yeah, I knew you knew that too.
Kevin Flynn asks, "What's the ceiling and floor of the Commanders this year?" What do you guys think?
I got 8 wins, bro.
I got us at 11.
11. I think we. So this kind of goes back to our predictions.
Yeah, I think you guys had 9, right?
I think
yeah. Well, I mean, for the floor, I think I got. Man,
the floor is 7.
I got 6.
I think the floor is 6. Yeah, I got the floor
and
is 6.
My ceiling is 11, and that's a very generous ceiling.
I think we're going to
win. No, my ceiling, like everything breaking right, is 12 or 13.
My thing about it is
that's everything goes right and everybody else sucks.
Right, that has to happen. That's my point. I'm just trying to be realistic. Honestly, Philly should be the best team in the conference. And I think also that the Dallas Cowboys should be at least better than us. They should be on paper if everybody plays. I don't know if Martin and all them are playing, but if everybody plays. So or as good. So there can't be 3 teams winning 10, 12 games, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We never beat the Giants. I don't give a shit if we win all 17 games. We're going to lose to the Giants. You know that's going to happen. That's just who we are, bro. We lose to these motherfuckers every year.
And Daniel Jones will get his
79
yards.
They own us, man.
Giants are in a deep doo-doo pool right now.
They are, but they'll find a way to beat us or tie us. It'll be one of the two. But like I said, I just don't see it. Like, I feel like we have the talent to do it. I feel like we're better than last year. It might not translate to the record. If you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if the quarterback is at least, he has to be good. He can't be just average, man. We got to know for a fact that we're not looking for a quarterback next year from Ron to keep his job, bro. It can't be like, well, let's give him one more year. Maybe we drop the quarterback. It's got to be like, that can't even be a question, bro.
Yeah, true story. Ryan says, love me some Jason Campbell. Marcus says, Carson Wentz is the second one. I think Carson Wentz is on Ron. I don't think Carson Wentz is on Dan. I think Dan had already stepped back into the shadows.
Yeah.
At that point, he probably had to ask him, but I think that was all Ron.
Didn't he go on TV and say we got our quarterback or some shit? Didn't Dan do that? Yeah. Didn't Dan say we got our quarterback?
Yeah, probably through Ron though. T-Ho, what's up, T-Ho? Says, hey guys, how you doing?
Oh shit!
I'm so happy that Dan is gone, and we're happy to see you, brother.
I thought you disappeared with Carly, man. I didn't know where T-Ho went to. I was like, dude, I seen him chasing the baby up the interstate, man. He just disappeared. I didn't know what happened to
T-Ho. Says man. Rex Grossman is the worst quarterback. Oh, Dave, I got a soundboard now. If I got a happy soundboard. How about this?
Congratulations. It's a celebration.
Definitely get demonetized or whatever.
There you go.
I disagree on Rex Grossman, though. I actually hated that, some guys. Finger pointing in the right direction here.
Steve was definitely probably
a John Beck guy.
I was at the game where I think Grossman threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
And everyone was screaming. I was in text section 214. Everyone was screaming, "We want Beck." And I was like, I think it was versus the Dolphins. I stood up and I was like,
Eagles.
We want
Eagles.
Beck. We want Beck. And he came in
and he sucked. And he sucked for the next
just as much
games.
As Rex did.
Actually, he got sacked. He got sacked 10 times against the Bills. And I literally did an analysis one time. This is back when I used to do fan posts for Hogs Haven. And I literally counted that 7, possibly 8 of them were on Beck. That's bad.
Do you know he's apparently he's a very good quarterback coach right now?
So are a lot of guys who couldn't hack it.
Yeah, some guys are great coaches and they're just not, they don't cut it for
because they got through technique, not because of raw talent.
Marcus says the floor is 8. Ryan says 7. Okay, next category. Worst free agent signing. Worst free agent signing.
Oh, I got a good one.
I'm going to go first. You went first last time, Phil. I'm going to say Deion Sanders.
What?
Yes. No. So hear me out. From a business perspective, it was the worst. 7 years. $56 million. 7 years, Dev. 7 years. You can't tell me.
That's pennies right now.
You can't tell me that was a good deal. Because guess how many years he played for the Redskins? 1. 7 years.
It was pretty shitty, but I don't think it's the worst.
And I'm almost positive we continued to pay that out. I'm trying to go back and look up the.
I think we had a buyout whenever he went to the Ravens.
We paid it. We paid him for a long time after that. Same with like Archuleta or
because he retired for 2 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying he came back with the Raiders. I think there was a settlement they had to do for him to go back to play for the Raiders.
Yeah, but that's mine. I love. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad Deion Sanders played for this team, but to sign him to a 7-year deal, I think he was already in his 33, 34 years old. He was late in his life. I mean, shit, we signed Bruce Smith when he was 37.
At least Bruce Smith was productive.
He was productive for 4 years for us. Absolutely. But, that's my pick is Deion Sanders. Phil, what do you got?
Adam Archuleta.
Because
Archuleta didn't give a shit. And he was and we questioned that move when it happened. That's not one of those that people went. Now, I didn't because I was like, oh, Adam Archuleta, he's been great for the Rams. And when I did that, I had totally forgotten the fact that he had his production and his abilities and his talent had declined. So I over the previous season. So I was like, well, Adam Archuleta, he was great for the Rams. Was great. I did not see coming that he was going to be that terrible for Washington. So Archuleta, and the fact that we got Archuleta, and in the process we got rid of Ryan Clark to get Archuleta.
Yeah, who went on to play many great years for the Pittsburgh Steelers afterwards.
He could have been. Can you imagine a Ryan Clark and Sean Taylor defensive backfield?
And if they would have kept Carlos Rogers.
And if had been your boy the dude that died of steroids had been any good.
LaRon Landry.
We wouldn't even drafted Landry if Clark had been on the team. That's the crazy thing.
I don't think him and Sean Taylor got along at that time, right? Some shit.
I don't know. LaRon just got all beefed up on roids and then gets trucked by Brandon Jacobs.
And Brandon Jacobs run over a lot of people, man.
You cannot be run over when you get that big.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Terrence, what up? Terrence says, what up, homies? Thank you for tuning in. Our boy Mean Green, Eagles fan, jumping in the chat with us. We're just celebrating the fact that Josh Harris is our new owner, homegrown Maryland native, talking about his Bethesda Chevy Chase roots today. So
talked about walking down East Capitol Street. He said I did get a little bit of chills because I remember doing that too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude. Man.
I mean, it's obviously it's Albert Hainsworth. I don't know why
Albert?
no one's.
I'm just trying to think outside the box here. Yes, right, that's an easy one.
No one was going to say it. I was like, hell. I mean, I'll say it. It's obviously it was him, but it was Albert Hainsworth. It's not even a question. But contrary to what people think, we were off the hook for a lot of that money. We didn't pay him a lot of money.
7-year deal, $100 million.
We paid for it a salary cap penalty afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem with that one that I had, Dev, so we paid him for 2 years, $11 million, and then $23.7 million we paid him in 2010.
But all the rest of that $100 million went to somebody else.
But if you remember, we signed him before Mike Shanahan came, and we were running a 4-3. He came from a 4-3 defense on Tennessee. Mike Shanahan gets here, installs a 3-4, and all of a sudden, Albert Hainsworth is not a true nose tackle anymore. So he's playing out of position. And I don't think he liked that. And then it all went downhill from then. You remember the whole.
You didn't want to get double and triple team.
Correct. And you remember the whole physicals he made him do. Remember that nonsense with Shanahan and.
I loved it. I loved it because it was making him earn. I loved it because it was making him earn his money at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty embarrassing when you can't pass this shuttle run, and Lindsay Zarniak can.
I know.
And she's a reporter.
Zarniak, by the way.
Chet Scotland said Hainsworth. Ryan says Fat Albert. T.O. says Fat Albert. Marcus says Hainsworth and Deion Sanders. T.O. says Deion Sanders. Ryan says
no Mark Carrier.
Archuleta. So on Deuce made a post yesterday, and I said Mark Carrier in his post. I said Carrier. I said not money, but
Bruce
why
Smith?
are you signing these guys? Andre Reed. We signed Andre Reed
Oh, yeah.
to a 1-year
Yeah.
deal.
We signed what's the name too from Kentucky?
Mark Carrier.
Well, we need
the running back. What's the name?
Hold on. The Reed thing was a
Sean,
necessity because that
Alexander.
was because Westbrook got hurt in the second game of the season. We needed another receiver.
Sean
Yeah.
Alexander.
Running back.
Yeah, we signed him.
Sean Alexander,
from the Seahawks.
Willie Parker,
Yeah,
Larry
Ryan
Johnson.
says Terrell Pryor. A lot of hope coming out of
Terrell
Cleveland.
Pryor had a
man.
good year though. Yeah, a good year that 1 year. You had a good year.
He did.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark
was
and
not
Ryan
with us.
Landry.
Should've never
Jason
left.
Donaway tuning in from Facebook. Thank you, bro, for tuning
Brandon
in.
Lloyd the first time.
Chet says Landry's still getting burnt by the shot on the first play from I hated LaRon Landry. And when he would give up a 30, 40, 50-yard play and make a tackle, he would stand over the dude like and intimidate him like, motherfucker, you just gave a 50-yard play. You have no business trying to stand over someone like you, man. He did that. Taryn says James Thrash. I liked James Thrash on our team. He played well for you guys. He was a good kick returner. I think he was
Thrash was good for us.
He was a good like a utility guy, like that third, fourth receiver for a long time. Almost had a little bit of moxie in him. That James Thrash, material. Greg Delaney says Jeff George. Yeah, that's what I said. A lot of these things kind of are duplicative, but he's Terrence says I say James Thrash because it is the worst signing.
Steve went to the upside down.
Say what?
You went to the upside down for a second. I don't know what happened.
I did. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, this one should be much easier. Worst draft pick underneath Dan Schneider. There's some easy ones, and there might be some you might have to reach down and.
I'm going to answer y'all now.
Doxson, you mean? Josh Doxson?
Doxson, yeah.
Josh Doxson,
Yeah,
wide receiver, Texas Christian University. First round.
That probably isn't really the worst. It's just off top.
18? 17? Yeah. 17? I don't know. Drawing blanks here. That was a Scott McLuhan pick, by the way. So I don't know if we don't know how much influence Dan had over that pick, because at that point we thought we had a general manager for the first time in years.
Somebody's gonna say RG3.
That's an easy one. I
don't think it's a bad pick. It was a magical year. He got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it was super magical for 6 games.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just fun to watch. But it's some of these comments here. Chet Scotland says Malcolm and Devin. So he's talking about Malcolm Kelly and Devin Thomas. We picked them back to back, if I'm not mistaken.
Anyone in the second round could be picked in this conversation, because we haven't picked the second round pick.
I got a worse one than 2
decades. I feel like.
And Marcus says the same thing. Malcolm Kelly and Devin Thomas. There's some stories behind them.
Is Devin Thomas worse than Josh Doxson? Really? I think so. I think Devin Thomas ended up making a Pro Bowl.
No,
not with
the Giants.
No, he didn't make a Pro Bowl with anybody. He made a modeling career.
I thought he did something with the. Look it up, man. Devin Thomas with the Giants. I thought he made like a kick returner or some shit. I think he made it 1 year or some shit.
He was trash everywhere, but
some injuries too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: there are 2 that are worse than this.
Okay.
And I have a tie for this one. I could not decide between the 2. One is Taylor Jacobs.
See a high pick though.
Second rounder.
We never nailed those, by the way. Everyone.
And his stats are worse than all the people we named. The other one is Sua Cravens.
Oh, Sua Cravens.
Yeah, it's still a late
second
pick,
round
though.
pick. Second round pick.
Yeah, it was that.
Same draft as Doxson.
No second round picks. No second round picks work for us though.
He was our tweener.
We gotta make it. We can't use second round picks. None of them are good. There's not any second round picks that are good. Besides Pierre Smith or whatever his name is, that plays for Green Bay now, and he was good. He was okay here. He was great there. So there's no second
He
round
was
picks.
second round pick talent here. He played like
Yeah.
a second round pick.
Right. Like a first
But-
round pick with Green Bay.
Sua Cravens didn't do jack diddly squat for us, and neither did Taylor Jacobs. So both Taylor Jacobs, Sua Cravens are my two worst picks. And see, the funny thing is, nobody remembers Taylor Jacobs. That's how non-impactful he was. And he was the top pick in that draft because we didn't have a first rounder in that draft.
Yeah.
Taylor Jacobs was the top pick we had in that draft, and no one even remembers him, let alone would mention him in this list because he's that forgotten. That's bad.
There's some context. We talked about this on the podcast before, but there's a story with Devin Thomas during that draft. So Vinny Serrato, we had the 48th and 51st picks in that draft. All right. We had already picked at number 34 Devin Thomas because Dan Schneider said you're picking him. This is Jim Zorn's. Jim Zorn was head coach at the time. So Vinny Serrato said who he wanted to draft at 48. Do you know who it was?
I can't remember now.
Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles, Kansas City Chiefs running back who had a phenomenal career. Jamal Charles.
We could have had Deshaun Jackson in that draft.
I'm sorry, 51. We drafted Fred Davis at 48.
Yeah. I was going
at
to say
51,
we sandwiched two receivers around Fred Davis.
At 51, we Serrato wanted Jamal Charles, but Dan Schneider overruled him and selected Malcolm Kelly.
Didn't they get
I get
Deion
why,
Jordan
because
that round, that one?
we were lacking that big body red zone receiver, and we had been lacking that for a long time. And I knew that was like a thing they were going to look at in the draft. So when we picked up both of them, like it made sense, but neither one of them turned out to be anything. So it is what it is. But yeah, Jamal Charles would have been a better pick, especially because if you had the foresight to know that that you were never going to get anything good out of, well, you probably weren't going to get much good out of Clinton Portis there out. He was on the downside of his career. We didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But that would have been a fantastic replacement to have.
I think so. Well, so you're Dev, who did you say again?
All right, Deion Jordan, I guess, 2013.
Deion Jordan.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a defensive end, I think, or something.
Deion Jordan. Deion Jordan was drafted by.
You said Josh Doxson.
I did say that. Hold on. I wrote it down. Yeah, Deion Jordan.
We didn't draft Deion Jordan. Was
We didn't
drafted
draft
by
anybody named
Dolphins.
Deion Jordan.
I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Look at our draft bus.
You could all. I mean, Robert Griffin III is too easy, but I'm not going to say Robert Griffin because I enjoyed and appreciated everything he did in 2012. And I know we traded the farm for him and we were handicapped for years on top of the cap penalties that hit us for the next 2 years after he was drafted, if I'm not mistaken, right? 2 years? Wasn't it 2 year cap penalty for 2 consecutive years?
Yeah.
So a lot of things just went wrong. So I'm not going to say Robert Griffin because that's just not fair. I love what Robert Griffin did. 2012 is still one of the most exciting years of my life. But I'm going to go and say in 2007 is LaRon Landry. You guys had talked about it already. It was just such a bad pick from LSU.
Good at the time, and he was okay.
Sixth overall pick.
We drafted him where he was expected to go, though.
Yes, but I'm just saying this is all hindsight, right? This is all hindsight. I'm going to tell you who
he could have been great with Sean Taylor.
Guess who got picked number 7? Adrian Peterson. Number 8, Jamal Anderson. Patrick Willis 11, Marshawn Lynch 12, Darrelle Revis 14. That draft was loaded.
What was he sure? Was he Schuler a Snyder?
94. He was 94.
Snyder? Was he a Snyder?
No, he was a Jack Kent Cook guy.
Yeah,
he was a Charlie Casserly and Norv Turner guy. They both wanted him.
Yeah.
Desmond Howard, that wasn't him either, right?
No,
that was still a bad pick. Greg Delaney, thank you for tuning in from Facebook, brother, says Dwayne Haskins. I was going to pick Dwayne Haskins. I wanted to. I know Jay didn't want Dwayne Haskins. Jay wanted who's the guy that went to Denver and now he's in Seattle.
Lock.
Got beat out by Gino.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. He was a Drew Lock fan, just like Mike Shanahan was going to draft Ryan Tannehill at 6 had we not traded the farm for Robert Griffin. I don't know. Marcus says Fred Davis was so underrated. Yep, Ron Landry was the musclehead. Okay,
Underrated. Do you mean to write underrated?
Fred Davis, he was underrated.
I wouldn't say he's underrated. He did.
He had drug problems.
Everybody got drug problems.
He got suspended for
America.
Yeah, but I think the problem with Fred Davis, why he doesn't look upon as favorably too, is because besides the drug problems, he was sandwiched between two of the best tight ends this franchise has ever had.
Yeah,
he came in to replace Cooley, and then he got replaced by Jordan Reed.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, he had those drug issues. He had injury and then a drug issue like back to back, and he just never rebounded back. Okay, one more negative, and we'll end it on a positive. That's so Dan. Give me a "that's so Dan" moment if you can think of one. There's probably quite a few. If you don't have any, I'll say "that's so Dan."
Wearing Timberlands to press conferences.
Yeah, suing the Washington Post or suing fans for not renewing their season tickets even though they signed a contract. Or no, I'll say his. I want to say it was like either a 50 or 75% increase in parking prices after he became the owner, which was just unnecessary. He didn't have to do it. And he did it. I think that's such a Dan Schneider thing, putting all of those things in place and everything was about the bottom line and, putting your own Johnny Rockets franchise in your crappy stadium. Yeah. So that's my "that's so Dan" moment. You got anything, Phil? This could be coaches. This could be.
I mean, there's so many to pick from, but the Jim Zorn as head coach.
Because who are we going after? He was the consolation prize.
Let me tell you. Let's story time, guys.
Barbara Lewis.
We actually had Joe Gibbs had left a plan of succession when he left.
Sure did.
Greg Williams would become head coach.
Yep.
Greg Blasch would become defensive coordinator, and Al Saunders would remain offensive coordinator.
That's correct.
So what he does is he says, "I'm not bringing in Greg Williams as head coach. I'm not keeping Al Saunders as offensive coordinator. I'm going to bring Jim Zorn in to be offensive coordinator."
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. He was a quarterback's coach. Usually moving to offensive coordinator is a common step up, right? And this is coming off those Seahawks teams with, Sean Alexander and Matt Hasselbeck that went to the Super Bowl, went to a bunch of playoff games, beat us in the playoffs in 2007. And then after offering him offensive coordinator, calls him back, says, "Come back in and interview again for head coach." To the point that Zorn literally called his wife, and his wife says, "You better take this job because you're probably not going to get another offer like this ever again."
Yeah.
His own wife didn't think he was head coach material.
Yeah, very true. So I renege. I'm going to say mine is the canning of Marty Schottenheimer. Finished the season 8-8. Started out really bad.
0-5.
Hall of Fame coach, and then he not only did he fire Marty Schottenheimer because Marty wanted more control of the team, he replaced him with Steve Spurrier
because he wanted to have fun.
Yeah,
on paper, Steve Spurrier.
My buddy Dave Razor says, "While this conversation is totally relevant, it's depressing, but that's okay, Dave, because this is a celebration tonight. We have sold the team. It's over." That's right. It's party. Dev, Do you have a Dan moment? If not, we'll end on a positive note.
It's definitely Dan wearing Timberlands to press conferences, bro. Like that's
Which is
definitely
everyone
Dan
knows that
moment.
picture. If you got, hopefully
It's
everyone knows
hilarious.
that picture. If not, I'll try to.
Because
Pull
he
it
does
up.
it all the time. There's not one picture. He wears Tim's to press conferences.
He does. Apparently, he wears them right too.
Or that time he frosted his hair and tried to say it was the sun.
I think that's when he took a hiatus for a
I
while.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I
what is
forgot about that one.
everyone's best moment under Dan Schneider? This is this is the final technical topic, but the best moments under Dan Schneider. Who would like to start?
Oh,
Best
we're gonna go
moment.
way
This
back
could
for me
be-
on this one.
Yeah, I got one. I
And it
got
doesn't mean
one.
that
I
it had
got
to
one.
work out.
I got
it was
one.
just that you at the time you were like, oh man,
I
this
got
is
one.
it. And it
I got
could
one.
have burst into flames. But Dev, go ahead.
When he sold the team. That's the best day.
Cheap copy. Yeah. I
Go
have
ahead, Joe.
two. I have two.
Okay.
The first one is 99 NFC wild card after we won the division for the first time since 91. And we beat the Lions 27-13.
Thank you, Brad Johnson.
And well, actually, I'll tell you what. If you want to thank somebody, you thank Stephen Davis in that game.
Come on, we want Dallas game.
No.
Was
We
that
beat the
Snyder?
Lions, and we ended up playing Tampa Bay next week, and then we lost on that botched field goal snap.
Yeah.
But the stadium was rocking, and it felt like RFK for the first time ever. And you really thought you were on the precipice of a new era. Like, oh my God, new owner, first season, we win the division, we go into the playoffs, we kick this other team's ass, and this is a team that had beaten us earlier in the season too, and quarterbacked by Gus Frerotte, and we kicked their ass. That was the game that Trey Johnson got ejected for fighting, for defending Brad Johnson. Trey Johnson got kicked out. That was one, because I remember thinking, oh my God, we're back. And we weren't. The other one, and Chet Scotland beat me to it, is the Monday Night Miracle.
Monday Night Miracle. Yep.
And I think that one's more sentimental, but it happened under Dan. But
Sure
that was
did.
because it was the Monday after my son was born.
Yeah.
We had brought him home the previous day.
What's the day he called what's the game where he called Mara a motherfucker, man?
Called who?
Mara for the Giants.
He called Jim Mara a motherfucker.
Dan?
Yeah, man.
This was 2012. This was 2012.
Yeah, the 2012 year. Yeah, 2012 was his best
at home.
Yeah.
2012 was Dan Snyder's best.
Well, and then
best
you
era,
notice
man,
the
in my
following
opinion.
year, that's when Mara led the charge for the cat penalty, and we claimed
Yeah, but he
collusion.
did
was
that,
that
and then in
year.
2012.
That year.
Remember that game was with RG3. Is the game where RG3 fumbled to
That
John
was the
to
lockout.
We're supposed to
Joshua
have Peyton Manning
Morgan,
was supposed to
but
be
it was
quarterback in
actually
2012 anyways.
it was a fumble, but it was a forward lateral. But they called it a fumble. I played it off like it was a fumble. We won the game like 19-10, I think it was the final score. And before the game, Dan Schneider called John Mara a motherfucker.
Get him, Dan.
But you know what? If there's nothing else I'll ever walk up to Dan and shake his hand for, I will walk up to Dan and shake his hand for that one, because that is one of the most astute observations of another human being ever heard.
Right.
Marcus kind of hit one of mine when he hired Joe Gibbs. I think, Joe Gibbs 2.0 was a great move to come back.
I remember the next
brought
morning.
a lot of people.
I remember the
back.
next morning when that happened. Y'all remember this? PGC. This is 04, guys. This dates the song reference and everything. The next morning, WPGC was playing a parody of "Change Clothes" by Jay-Z, but it was Coach Gibbs is back home. And
I do not remember that. I was in Korea, but
I give that 1 3/4 stars on for judging.
But for me, my favorite moment, it was that 2012 run. That was just such a magical season for me because I got to go every home game that year, and no matter what happened, I felt like Dan had made the right move for getting Robert Griffin. Doesn't matter what it cost. We had found our guy, and we were on the leading edge of the next generation of quarterback. We were the first ones running the run pass option. Nobody was doing it. And I was like, did we finally do something right first? And are we going to be the trailblazers of something good? Wrong. So wrong. But for that time, it was.
For a moment, we
And
were
we-
the future.
And we were supposed to have Peyton Manning that year.
Yeah.
Wasn't even supposed to be
Shanahan
him,
was supposed to
bro.
bring him over.
It wasn't even supposed to be RG3.
We
It was
had-
supposed to be
we-
fucking
we-
Peyton Manning.
We were strapped for cash.
Yeah, because of the
Strapped for
Giants. Hence the motherfucker speech.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Just recapping, if you didn't get to watch the Josh Harris interview, it's on the Commanders YouTube homepage. Just a quick recap from it. They asked him about RFK. He's like, listen, we just got here. We haven't even been on our first day. Training camp starts this weekend. Our first priority is football operations and improving the fan experience and then engaging the community. He said all the right things. And he's like, listen, I'm going to listen to what Ron and the guys, and we're going to watch. That's it. No committing, no, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I think that's the right approach. Don't come in and just try to change everything. But his first priority is football. And then after that, it's improving fan experience, engaging the community. I think
improving the first two will make the third just happen.
Absolutely. And he said, listen, we haven't had a lot of team access prior to. He did get to meet the staff and Ron, but there wasn't a lot of access because there's probably some what's it called, like ethical stuff that they probably weren't allowed to talk
Yeah,
about.
you can't have that information until you actually own the team.
But one of the
There's-
reporters asked if he was going to be, do you plan on being in DC a lot? And he's like, listen, my priority is here. My mom lives here.
Mama here.
I will be here. And he just said, listen, I'm going to be doing a lot of listening from Ron. And that's what he said. Go ahead.
Can we squash something right now?
What's that?
He mentioned the three things that are his priority. And the first two are the most important. That's being football and being fan experience. So no, the name's not changing again.
Yeah, no name changing with the gesture. Yeah, Dave says agreed. The RG3 one was fun. Didn't work out, but it was fun. It was just a great memory. I'm glad it happened. Chet says new name on the horizon. They will exercise the demons Snyder left behind, including the team.
No,
save
that
the
name ain't
stadium.
changing. Remember,
Yeah.
I was holding this up for anybody who thinks that name's going to change. Again, no, you are not getting
Butterfly
Red
in the
Wolves.
sky. I can go twice as high. Take
Take a look. It's in a book.
A
Reading
reading
rainbow.
Oh,
That's right.
man.
Snyder says, I can't go anywhere. Well, the greatest thing he ever done was flip $600 million to $6 billion.
Seriously. And on that point, Dev, the Mary Jo White report was released. So that was the report that the NFL did independently. So the team did theirs, and of course they said everything was great. The NFL did theirs, and the conclusion of it was that Dan owes $60 million, and that encompasses that's from all the harassment and all the financial fraud that the team conducted with the non-reporting of the revenue. So they have to go back, and apparently they have to pay players more money because of the fraud that the team conducted. This is going to get swept under the rug, by the way. So we might as well talk about it now.
Well, he's
more
going to
money.
have
They are more proper
$6.05 billion to pay it with.
Yeah, it was all approved by the NFL Finance
$6 billion.
Committee. And I think someone did the math. It's like less than 1% of $6 billion. I mean, it's some crazy stupid.
Yeah, it's
number.
like,
but
take an extra million.
Apparently, the team was not cooperative with the investigation. This is all in the report, by the way. You can read it. They have a history of compliance with NFL sharing rules. Reflects an outlier in the club asserting very aggressive and highly questionable interpretation of the rules and also engaging in multiple violation of the rules, clearly crossing into the line of deliberate evasion. That's the fraud they're talking about, the other stuff.
I'm letting you know right now, though, this story just came out on ESPN that there's a pretty good chance Josh Harris could change the team name as a way to erase Snyder's legacy. That has been discussed.
I mean, it's all possible. Everything's going to be speculated.
So saying the name ain't going to change, Phil.
It's funny.
We might see Red Wolves.
The guy who said this.
No, I thought there was an NFL rule.
It's on guy talking to Rich Eisen, but he has no connection to Josh Harris.
Yeah.
So that's just rumor, speculation, and innuendo. And goddamn, what are we going to change the name to? Fucking Red Wolves.
Yes.
Are you all 8?
Fast Blacks.
You know, also the Washington football team.
The Fast Blacks.
I wouldn't mind the football team.
Well, you get this too for that one.
Yeah,
I think if they change it, it's just got to be Redskins. If it's not Redskins, keep it, man.
Yeah. It might as well.
Going back to Redskins, keep it. Let's not create another series of arguments over a bad name. Unless you got some kind of an awesome name in your pocket that is not Red Wolves.
Redskins Commanders.
Or that Martin McCauley doesn't already have trademarked.
Exactly.
I love the W.
Name them the Mark McCauley's.
The asshole lawyers. That would fit for so many different reasons in DC.
There was so many people calling into 106.7 today. I heard on my commute to Alexandria, and every caller, change the name
because they think that somehow they're going to get Redskins back, or they want some. You know what? Here, demonetize me, Facebook or YouTube. Demonetize me. They want some pussy ass name like Red Wolves.
Oh, Phil, you had to do it. You had to do it.
God,
I was going to say I couldn't find it.
Made little kid name. You get that? I need one of those for me. It is such a horrid name. It's the kind of name that your little kids' travel soccer team would call themselves. Okay, it is not befitting of an NFL franchise. All right, and I also hate the fact that it just sounds like if you say it really fast, it sounds like you have a speech impediment. Watch the Red Wolves. Watch the Red Wolves.
I mean,
I want to call the octopuses. Just so I was going to say go pussies every time we score a touchdown.
It's okay to not like the Commanders, but I just don't like the never Commanders people. Like, it's not going to be Redskins. So
it's never going to be Redskins.
It's not. Redskins is never coming back.
Let me tell you something. All right.
Say never.
We talked about this earlier.
Way
amongst ourselves.
Never would happen.
What if that's on the table?
This name change would have happened 6-7 years ago. It would not have happened in 2020 under a different owner. Redskins would have been gone back in like 2012, 2015.
Snyder was a perfect dickhead to keep that name.
We're never changing a name.
Yeah, he was a perfect dickhead for that
Period.
one.
He kept that name until a dramatic social climate upheaval happened to force the matter.
Yeah.
That's not probably cool as hell now, though. He ain't got to worry about being a Redskins owner. He's probably a cool guy to hang out with. He has
Chet
drugs.
says, I'd love the Redskins again. If your name is Elmer Fudd, then Redwoods would sound like you said it. Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's no perfect name. You might as well just stick with Commanders. I don't even care.
I hate to say this, but a lot of people who still want to bring the name Redskins back, they look like Elmer Fudd. So
that's all.
It's just not going to happen. I don't know.
But I would love to have Redskins back, but I'm realistic about the fact that it's not going to happen. It's just not.
Yeah.
Might happen.
Well, there is
that is the one name that would unify everybody. It's the one name that would unify everybody. But it's not going to happen. So get behind what it is. If the team goes to the Super Bowl this year, are you still going to call in complaining about Commanders?
Maybe.
No.
For those who can't see it, the team did release a statement today by Josh Harris. His first official statement on the Commanders website said, "Today, my partners and I were entrusted by the NFL with stewardship of a great franchise. As a lifelong Washington football fan who grew up here, I know that the Commanders are more than just a sports team. This is an institution passed down from generation to generation. From day one, it's our top priority to deliver you a championship caliber team, and we will strive every day to ensure that We are a franchise you can be proud of. To Commanders fans everywhere, our promise is simple. We will do the work, create the culture, and make the investment needed to deliver for this team and Washington. So it's exciting,
By the way, Josh Harris, nice set of balls. You dropped the name Redskins right in front of Roger Goodell. Loved it.
Yeah, but he was talking about the good old days of the
he says then Redskins, now
Red
Commanders.
Gibbs.
He didn't dance around it like some people would expect. He flat out said it, and I was like, good for you. By the way, I didn't know Roger Goodell's from DC.
I looked up his bio, and he is not.
So he lied.
So, well, his Wikipedia says I think he's from Pennsylvania. So I saw that too, because I grew up right down the street from Josh Harris.
DC, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It confused the heck out of me, and I'm looking it up right now.
Really trust Roger Goodell to tell the truth about it.
Well, his Wikipedia page says he was from Jamestown, New York.
I trust his that explains why he lets John Mayer get away with everything. But I trust his Wikipedia page. I would trust.
I don't know.
I trust his Wikipedia page way more than I trust anything that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Period.
Childhood. Born in Jamestown, New York. Then the family moved to Bronxville, New York, where he graduated from high school. So yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I really don't. Yeah. Dave says PowerPoint slides. That's right. Oh, PowerPoint slides. Gotta love it. Yeah, so there's some fun times on the horizon. Tomorrow is a pep rally to kick off the training camp and the start of the 2023 season. It's going to be a good time. I hope so anyways, but everyone's invited. All you have to do is go online. It's free. You can RSVP. You can be there. I don't know if I will make it or not, but here's the quick photo. It says you are invited. 1 p.m. Friday, July 21st at FedEx Field, hosted by Washington alum Fred Smoot, Logan Paulson. There'll also be appearances by Jonathan Allen, Washington legends, Command Force Major Tuddy, and more. The gates do open at 10 o'clock. I did RSVP. Gates open at 10. Parking lot opens at 10. The gates open at 1 o'clock, and it goes to about 4:10 p.m. There will be food trucks on site, free snacks and beverages. And I wonder if there's going to be anyone tailgating there, but pretty cool nonetheless.
Starting at 10 a.m., you'd bet your ass they will be.
Yeah.
Please expect that Rio and Rep the district will be there, because apparently none of them have other jobs.
I wish. Chet says he lives in Bronxville now, 3 miles from my parents' house in the Bronx. Yeah. Marcus says, I think Magic Johnson's going to be there. So Josh Harris is supposed to make an appearance tomorrow at FedEx Field. So it will be interesting.
Love it. Be there. Be there immediately.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. This is our first live stream in a couple weeks. Life has been busy. We've had vacations. My dog passed away. He's in a better spot now. I think we all are as a family. But shout out to my dog, Marty, a 14-year-old puggle. He was the man.
He's a good old boy.
Appreciate everything he did. Yeah, he was a good old boy. Yeah, and then I know that I think Mr. Phil.
I suffered a loss coming back from my vacation. My first vacation this month. I went to Ocean City, and it's coming back late, so I can make it to work on Tuesday. And I smashed my Mustang into a deer doing 70 miles an hour. That thing popped up right in front of my car on I-66 in Warren County, and I never even had a chance.
You never had your car. Vin Diesel.
I had my car, but damn, here's a funny thing. You can see there's other pictures up there that I sent Steve, but the 4 airbags went off. But amazingly, the deer pretty much got vaporized, I think. But as you can see, smashed window. The top was down too. I'm amazed that deer didn't go flying up over the car.
Could have been riding with a deer in a car.
Would have been like Tommy Boy. But nonetheless, car got totaled because all the airbags went off. And so rest in peace. Rest in peace to the Stang.
Dave says, good chat, fellas. Hail to the Redskins, Commanders, and watch the football team. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. We appreciate you, man. Thanks, brother.
Shout out to my girlfriend. Her back's jacked up. It's the only sad story I got. Sorry. Nobody died.
We're all hurting right now.
Nobody died. Today was a good day.
The dog. I lost my car. And Deb can't get laid.
Positivity, everyone. Positivity. I know we were just kind of going through the time zone and the time warp of some Dan Schneider stuff, but it's all about positivity moving forward. We don't have to hear his name anymore. We're on the bigger and better things. It
is the era of good feelings.
Training camp is upon us, so
I love you all right now.
Yeah, thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight, man. This was awesome as usual. Dave, Marcus, Chet, Greg, Delaney, Terrence, appreciate you popping in, man. Ryan, Elias, T-Ho, Kevin.
A lot of old names, Tony. A lot of newer ones.
Yeah, Rockman 1033 only popped in at the beginning, but thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you. We'll see what happens. Hope nothing but positivity moving forward. We'll be in the camp mode here starting next week. I think I'm gonna be able to go to camp at least once over the next coming week, so I hope we can get you some coverage. I think I might be able to scrounge up a Commanders Ravens joint practice ticket from a friend, because those sold out in less than 3 minutes, by the way. So we can do that. Hopefully we can get some good coverage.
We'll be out of town the next 3 weekends.
Yeah, but I think
making it to training camp.
Week 1 versus the Cardinals. I'm pretty sure we are going. By the way, we need to get our tickets filled, because the cheapest tickets right now are almost just 160, 170, and we're talking 400s. The prices have skyrocketed.
That's okay, Steve. If I buy the tickets, that's me making up for all the money you spend on equipment and new ideas and soundboards.
All good, man. It's all gravy. Deb, you got any shout outs, man? Good, go. Said it. Shout out to your girls back.
I watched the new Jennifer Lawrence movie.
I'm already disinterested.
Nah, man, she's pretty much bucky naked from like eyebrows to toenails.
Yeah.
Now I am interested.
Yeah. Like immediately when the movie comes on.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. It's really funny too, by the way. It's one of the guys that did The Boys. No Hard Feelings is what it's called. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm going to watch Oppenheimer probably tomorrow, Saturday.
Warrior season 3 is out.
Barbie's out.
Yeah, lots of good TV out on all the streaming services. Good stuff. Tune in. All right. Like I said, thank you for tuning in. You can find this show on all your audio podcast platforms, wherever you get your stuff at. But if you're here on YouTube, thank you. Please go like the video, subscribe. That really helps.
Bell notification.
Help the algorithm jump us up, and get that audio podcast if you want to hear this offline. So thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week to cover some training camp stuff. We appreciate you as always. Peace and hail. We out.